meet everybody and to have a dialogue with you all. And I would like to share this amazing course that we offer at HUA. And this is, as Ankurji mentioned earlier, people often ask us that what do you have for new generation? What do you have for the teenagers? So most of the students that we get, they are adults and they want to know Hinduism. They want to understand what is Sanatan Dharma. They want to understand Upanishads, Ved, and as they get into the process, they feel that now, how will we take all this wisdom and this treasure to the new generation? And then they ask us, why don't you have any program? And from that curiosity of people and interest, we came up a couple of years back with this program called course called Growing Up with Gita. And the title, as it suggests, is that every day as we are growing, how are we growing? Do we have a friend, philosopher, and a guide who can direct us, who can provide us a vision? And wherever we are stuck at a particular point in life, is there a source where we can ask questions or get answers? And in what direction should we think? And all these similar questions and similar situation is faced by the youngsters, and specifically in these days, our young generation is undergoing more stress than the adults, I would say, because they are dealing with the world outside, and they have a culture and a house at home, and it could be in US, and I would say it is also back in Bharat, more or less the same situation. Thanks to the 70, 80 years of educational pattern that we are following, and the English medium schools as mushroomed all over the country, the students and the children, I would say almost two generations of our people, they are not able to understand what is their real history, what is Sanatan Dharma, what is Hinduism, and how do we identify ourselves. And along with that, what has happened is industrialization, technical development, scientific development, and now we are entering into an era of AI. So again, this question is, what is real, what is unreal, who am I? Am I going to be replaced completely, or is intelligence me, or intelligence my tool? And then if I have created a tool, will it overpower me? And then where will I be? We may look at all this situation from a different perspective as adults, but as youngsters, as children, I see that the middle schoolers and the high schoolers, they are excited, at the same time confused and restless. They don't know which career to choose, where will it go, which path is a nice, which is a path with more possibilities, a path with more resources, or will I choose something and I'll get stuck somewhere and I don't know what is going to happen next? So many questions they have to navigate. At the same time, they have problems like, who am I? What is my identity? So culturally and geographically, they have their parents who have come from Bharat. And these children, either at a very young age or they are born here. So, who am I? Am I an American? Well, when I go out into the world, I try to be an American, but people don't see me like that always. So I'm an Indian American, and then people distinguish me. They think I'm different, but I'm in this whole process of fitting in. I want to be part of it, and this struggle continues from the younger age till it doesn't matter. You stay in US for 50 years. You still need to prove that you are an American, and you still feel that am I really accepted in the society or not? Partially, yes. You are accepted for what you do. You are accepted for what you understand. We are accepted for what we bring on the table wherever we are. But is it a complete acceptance? That's a question we all need to think about, and we know the answers, isn't it? So, when this is with the adults, how does it work with the young children? And specifically when they are in their middle school and then they are in the high school, struggling with their hormonal changes, and specifically when the frontal lobe is still to be developed. It really gets developed at the age of 25. Until then, it's a roller coaster ride. So at particular time, I feel that okay, this is right, and I'll do it. I take risk. Another moment, I fear. I feel whether this is right or not wrong, and so moms like me feel that sometimes I feel my child is really grown up, and suddenly, next moment, I feel oh no, it's still a baby. So this kind of behavior keeps happening. So they are undergoing a lot of change, transformation. It's a period of transition, and culturally they don't know where should they really identify, because if they have their language with them, probably they are more secure, more stable, they know what it is. The window of language towards one's culture, towards one's philosophies, if that is not closed, they are in a better position. But if that is closed, then they really don't know how to peep into the emotions of their parents, how to express their emotions. So many things are happening. So, at this situation of life, they also have to decide what kind of career they want to pursue. How are they going to build themselves, and how do they imagine themselves as an adult? And then, how to navigate through relationships. So, it all depends on family to family, how the child has developed, what kind of family environment the child has received, and what kind of relationships the child has seen. And then, what does the child think about oneself? What kind of attachment styles the child has developed? And with all that, they really don't know that how would they enter into new relationships, and would these relationships last for long, or they are transitory? Is it just for some period of time, and if the relationships are going to break in the midway, then how are they going to handle that? And if they need to handle that, should they really get into that? And then, should they really commit? Should they really go for marriage? For the young adults, this is another main issue that they're struggling with. So, then should we really have kids? It goes on and on. However, life appeared to be simple in olden days, or not just 25 years back, life was still more stable. But gradually, we see that past 20 years, it is becoming more and more unstable on all fronts. So, when our children are struggling with this, I would like to share that due to the data that we receive, 40% of the high schoolers, they feel that they are hopeless. They get that feeling that I'm not adequate, that I don't have that much of capacity to really learn so many things, to navigate through relationships, to understand myself, to understand others. So if this is the percentage, then it actually needs to be worked on. At the same time, 61% of the students are stressed up for their grades and achievements and for their college admissions, and then they really don't know whether they will be getting into the college that they desire. Will they be able to pursue the particular field of knowledge that they really want to? And day in and day out, they are stressed with this, thanks to the parents that they also have their load of expectations on parents, on the children, and they want their children to be best. Now, it is of course for the good of the child, but sometimes the child is really overwhelmed with so many things, and at a point they develop a kind of personality where it is very natural that they don't want to interact with many adults. They don't want to go out and meet so many relatives and friends. They tend to stay more in their rooms and more in their own world. So then again, parents start complaining, why are you doing this? Why are you not speaking with people or outside? And so many things, this typical teenager behavior that is going on into homes. And what happens sadly is that there is a distancing and alienation process begins between the parents and the children, and that disturbs the family atmosphere. And again, parents are also anxious, they really don't know, they are also confused how to handle these children, how do I set them ready for the world. So with all this situation in background, uh, we see that there are so many contradictory narratives going around, specifically if you're a Hindu, you need to counter so many narratives around. And how do I equip my child to handle these narratives? Somebody comes and says that, oh, you're a Hindu. Okay, so I know there are so many castes in your Hinduism, and you just don't look towards people with equality. Now, this poor child doesn't know what is caste system, whether it is real or whether it is a patchwork done on Hinduism, or what it is. The child is absolutely unaware, doesn't know how to react. Somebody comes and says, oh, for you, cow is a goddess? Oh, wow. And then they will mock the child. The child should have answers to answer what does it really mean. Somebody says that, oh, you pray to so many gods. Why you're not sure about one god? Why do you need so many gods? So, what is this concept of having multiple gods? What is the meaning of Ishwar? What is the meaning of deity? So, all these questions need to be answered, and the child should be confident enough in one's own cultural shoes that yes, this is why I am Hindu, this is what it means. Now, Hinduism, as it comes in front of the children, comes through festivities, rituals, and family gatherings, and occasional visits to the temple. Now, I don't condemn all this. This is all required. This is all necessary. But the question is it sufficient? These are the fruits and the flowers and the leaves of a tree. But does the child really know what is the trunk of the tree? What is the root of the tree? And that is understood when one knows what is the philosophy of Hinduism. Parents may think that how do we introduce philosophy to children at a very young age? If not then when is my question. If philosophy is not told at a very young age, then will they come and sit in front of you and then say, okay, now tell us about philosophy? No, that time is never going to come. It has to be, they have to be nourished with philosophy right from the beginning. And I'm happy to share that as I have been working with children of various age groups since my college days, I can tell you that they are more receptive, they are more moldable, and their minds are fresh and pure. Once they see that what you are talking makes sense, what you are talking is logical, then they are the best ambassadors. In fact, the adults will have too many biases and impressions and things, and then they would not be able to remove that glasses of dogmas. But young generation will quickly take it, soak it, and it really helps well. And so we thought that through this course of growing up with Gita, why not introduce Bhagavad Gita to children at a very young age and nourish them with philosophy, but by connecting it to their problems, like the problem of identity. So, our course is designed for 10 weeks. It starts on 10th of July till the end of 10th of June to the end of July. So, we will be having 10 classes, and each class will be of 90 minutes. It is a class where initially we would be helping them to understand different basic fundamental concepts of Hindu philosophy in respect to Bhagavad Gita as they come in the 18 adhyayas of Bhagavad Gita. We have picked important shlokas from each adhyaya, and according to the subjects, we have classified them. And with the help of those, we connect it to their problems day to day. Because unless and until somebody is talking about us, we are not really interested. So I often say that philosophy should not be like your jewelry in the bank, that it's just there, but it is never used. So it has to be part of our day to day actions, day to day choices, day to day understandings. So for every action, we have to make a choice, isn't it? And to every situation, we have an option whether should I react or should I respond. And then, if I have to respond, then what is the criteria? What is the knowledge that I should have, and how should I decide? So, usually, our first class begins with understanding Arjun's dilemma. So, what is Arjun's dilemma? And from there on, we take on with what the children also experience, what are their moral dilemmas in the school when they are handling bullying, when they are on their internet, when they have to choose which reel to see, which not to see, when they have to manage their time. So there are so many dilemmas happening. When then they have relationship issues with their friends, and sometimes it is good, sometimes it is not good. How to deal with that? So for every topic we choose problems. Those are the daily experiences of children, and we relate it to the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita from different adhyayas. So initially we start with moral dilemmas, and then we move on to the concept of identity, like who am I? So I should know am I. Then I can talk about self confidence, self awareness, self esteem. So all these things are just an expression of my understanding about who am I. So we talk about the Panchakosha concept, which comes from Upanishad, which is also part of Bhagavad Gita in a different way. And how Bhagavad Gita talks about existence. Am I just my body? Am I just my emotion? Am I just my thoughts? Or am I combination of everything? Or am I something beyond this? So we talk about this identity concept that comes into it. So how to understand that? Then what is my relation with others? Am I one with them, or am I just like others? So there are different interpretations as they come. So we talk about that also. And then the third class is about theory of karma. So what are my actions? What is it that exactly happens when I act? How do I choose my actions? And then what do I expect from my actions? So, how many things are under my control and which things are not under my control? So, when Sri Krishna says that karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So, do not expect the fruits of the action is not the appropriate understanding of this shlok. This shlok, in fact, just tells us understand what is in your control and understand what is not in your control. So, performing an action is under my control. But what will be the results of that action has multiple conditions. It's not just my efforts. So, automatically, it is not 100% under my control. Now, if I'm working on these lines, that certain things are not going to be under my control, how do I deal with it? How do I decide about the goals of my life? And why do I act then? Anyways, if it is not under my control, then if I have to act, what is the purpose of it? So it's all about ends and means. It's about the process and the end. So many factors come in. So we have amazing discussions with the children. So it's an interactive course. Children keep asking questions, and we also give them certain quizzes to solve, which gives them an understanding of their ability as to how they can make decisions, how they can choose, how much of moral clarity they have. So this way the course will go on. And then we talk about the theory of Purushartha, goals. We talk about the Triguna, Sattva, Rajatama. So, what are different archetypes that we are segmented into in Bhagavad Gita, and how it helps to understand our health, physical, mental, intellectual, and beyond that. So, that kind of discussions happen. And then after that, how to build emotional stability, how to build resilience is another topic. So, emotional stability is a big concern for the young children, and not just young, I would say all of us. So, how to stay stable? Sukha dukhe samay krutva labha labho jaya jayo is what Bhagavad Gita says. So, sukha dukha, whatever comes, sorrow or happiness, whatever I experience, how am I going to be stable? How will I stay unaffected in sight of loss, in sight of gain, in sight of victory, in sight of losing something? So, what is this all, and how do I stay stable when I'm angry? How can I manage my anger when I'm stressed up? How do I manage my stress? And if I'm not able to manage my anger, and if I mess up with somebody, how do I patch it up? How do I correct it? What do I do next? How should I feel guilty, or how should I change my behavior. All these kinds of discussions happen in the light of Bhagavad Gita. And after emotional resilience, of course, we also talk about self restraint, self control, authenticity. These are main topics. And along with that, see, these days, while parenting, how much of focus is there on developing the ability of self control in the child matters a lot. uh, if the child is asking something and we are saying yes to everything, or we are saying no to many things, either ways extreme is not going to help. So where to practice self restraint and where to go and get things is a balance. So how to gain this? And see, if the child is confident from the younger age and child knows that I have self control, that ends up in developing a very confident person. Child is never afraid of anything in the life. And believe me, parents just have to sit back and relax. If their child has learned self control, if the child, because this leads to development of vivek, how to decide between what is right and what is wrong. So all these kinds of discussions also are taken, and then of course a class of practical yoga is also there, where we teach children what is pranayam, what is yoga, and how to practice it. They are given a 15 minutes, and we teach them in such a way that every day if they spend 15 minutes doing those kinds of pranayam and practicing some meditation, that is a big takeaway from this class when they go, because practically one needs to have something to do every day. If they don't have 15 minutes, what should they do in 5 minutes? There are different perspectives and options in this. So that way also it helps them. And last but not least, they have to develop as a strong individual and achieve excellence in their life. So how to be a person who is achieving excellence through one's action, and achievement or prosperity is never looked down in Sanatan Dharma. Poverty is never celebrated in Sanatan Dharma. So dharma, artha, kama, moksha, all these are our goals of human life. So how to achieve best of the best prosperity, how to fulfill one's dreams, because that is my duty. And so here comes the concept of dharma, swadharma, nishkama karma. All these concepts are also discussed with them. And I would say that this basically helps them to finally understand what is the concept of sthita prajna according to Bhagavad Gita. So ending we talk about this concept. So who is a sthita prajna? Sthita prajna se ka bhasha? Who is one who can be stable, one who can be uh, unaffected by any adverse conditions whatsoever. This is a simple definition of it. So in terms, when there are so many adversities, how to stay strong? I feel that is the main takeaway when a child learns Bhagavad Gita, that continues throughout the life. So this is something we try to hand over to the children, and then if they develop an habit of looking back into Bhagavad Gita, whenever they are into dilemmas, whenever they are into problems, that is our success, as we call it, because it is a change in the perspective. It is a transformative journey which just begins with this course. So, our main purpose is to motivate them, inspire them, and hand over Bhagavad Gita into their hands. And through whichever resources, today we have amazing channels on Instagram, on YouTube. There are so many good books. So, if they develop interest, they will search for things related to this, and their journey it will be continued. So we just have to inspire them, and they should be able to choose. So much of consumerism is happening, not just in terms of material things, but we consume lot of entertainment, and we consume lot of information. So, how to avoid this, and how to decide what is the right way, and what should be accepted and what should be rejected? If the children learn to do this, then we don't have to worry about them. So, we also have a parenting course we just completed it last quarter. So that was about Hindu dharmic parenting. So there we try to equip young parents to guide their children. But this particular course is about directly dealing with the teenagers. So we have two groups, one which starts at the age of 10 to 14, and another is from 15 to 25. That's a bigger group. So whichever kids you come across who fit into this age group, they are eligible to get into this course. So what I would say is that along with this, there is also another main problem that goes along with this age group is about substance. Um, Vaping and other substance use is also a big thing. Generally, children would wait till age of 18 many times, sometimes not. And once they go out into the college, parents have no control over them. And that is not practical also. To how would you control your child once the child is out and is visiting you just once or twice a month, or maybe after 2 months, or just for the vacation? How are we going to control? We don't have to control them. They have to control themselves. And therefore, they have to understand that how they are going to be more strong, independent, and happy, or they are going to be dependent, vulnerable. That is a choice that they have to make. So if we have a discussion around these topics, and then if we tell them what Bhagavad Gita says and what are the better ways of handling one's stress, what is a better way of coming to better decisions, then probably children are good enough to not go and take that route. So, yes. So I think from my side, I have given a quite an idea about what the course is, but I would open up for the questions. So in the process, I can take more points. So feel free to put your questions in the chat or directly ask. And yes, thank you.
Great, wonderful outline. Touch on some of the different projects, and there's always more going on. So yeah, please put your questions either in the chat or in the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. I put details of the course. This session that's going to start June 10th on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. And depending on groups and sessions, there may be others offered if um, we can organize enough of a group. So I don't see any questions coming in now.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we can take some time to talk about how you've seen it change students' lives, and even now with what we've done at HUA, we've got many different initiatives, and in 5 years, we've seen the middle schoolers go into college as confident Hindus, right? They're even
Yes.
saying, "I want to choose what is it, UT, right? UT Dallas because it has a Hindu community." I've heard this from young kids now, so we can see our impact that we're having now. But we continue to look for partners at Mandirs, you know, the folks who are joined this webinar. If you have any questions about how we can outreach to you or your mandir or your local groups or that kind of thing, we'd be happy to. And of course, if you have students in mind, we're happy to get into the details. Is it right for this kind of person? Is this course right for that? I mean, whoever it is, it's going to be right for, and that's how Kalika ji, Dr. Uthakar works on her programs. She's very inclusive. Um, and it sounded like you looked like you wanted to share a little bit on that.
Oh, yes. I have seen so many, and I'm sure most of you have seen children who are introduced to Hinduism right from the childhood, and not just the ritualistic aspect of it, but also the philosophical aspect of it. They are better able to handle their stress. They have a more composite understanding of their identity. They understand that their geographical identity is something and their cultural and spiritual identity is also something. So when they are aligned with themselves, with their exes, they are more stable. At the same time, when it comes to teenage, especially when it is about hormonal changes and so many things happening, they are in better control of themselves. Now it's not that anybody is going to be Sthitaprajna or Sri Krishna or complete. No, but relatively, they are better able to handle themselves. And I would say another important aspect is these children are more happier. This underlying sadness, that needs to be dealt with the children. When a child is lonely, when the child is sad, it all affects on the performance, it all affects on the process of knowledge gaining, it all affects the way they look at the world and the image that they form of the world. I'll give you a simple example. You ask any child, and if you meet a child who is 3 years old, and if we go and talk to the child and say, "Oh, you're so small," will the child like it? Child will not like it. If we say, "Wow, you are 4 years old, you're a grown up boy now," see that flash of happiness that comes in the face of a child. Every child wants to grow fast. Every child wants to say that I am big. Why this is there? Have you ever thought about it? Why every child wants to grow big and every adult wants to become a child? Isn't that interesting? So a child wants to grow fast and become an adult because child hates dependency and child craves freedom. Child hates helplessness. Child wants to be strong, independent, enjoy that freedom. That is the urge of every living being to grow. So if the child is feeling I'm small, I'm low, it's not a happy thing. So when we introduce Bhagavad Gita to children, we introduce divinity to them. We make them realize that they are not small, they are not helpless, they are divine from within. And more they are going to realize their divinity, they are going to be more and more happy. So, with this thought, when the child grows, it's like a bud which blooms into a beautiful flower. So, that has to be growth, that has to be the process of growing. So, I have seen young children growing that way, and they are really blessings for themselves and their parents and the society. So, yes, this really helps. I was introduced with this kind of learning from a very early age in my family. Later on, when I became mother, I have helped grow my children as well as simultaneously. I was always working in the society, doing such kind of work. So, yes, and you will agree that there is a very positive effect once we introduce this beautiful philosophy to children.
Great. We did have some questions come in
Mhm.
now. And Sanjeev Goyal is asking, can he have the course curriculum in terms of what will be addressed each session? I don't know if we
Oh,
want to get into that detail one at a time, but I think you already gave an outline, like
I've
in kind
given an
of the
outline.
first batch of courses, and then, but if you want to outline that
Well, I'll
again.
quickly go through it. It's like, see, basically, the background is of all 18 adhyayas. So, from 1 to 18, we have picked shlokas from all the adhyayas. Now, the topics that we discussed, I would say ethical dilemma, then identity and self discovery, excellence through karma, interplay of triguna, self restraint and authenticity, emotional stability and resilience, yoga sadhana, understanding bhakti, and the concept of sthita prajna. So these are some of the topics mainly, of course, in relation with the problem of the teens and then the possible resourceful shlokas from Bhagavad Gita. It
Yeah.
includes quizzes, it includes discussion. At the same time, at the end of the course, they have to come up with a final presentation and a paper, small paper. So presentation is a very interesting thing because that is the day of joy for me, because at the end of the course it all reflects what they have really processed, what they have really thought. And then especially with this in this time of AI, I prefer my students talking to me, so that helps me judge them better. Of course, they also have to write something, and the topic is such, we give such topics that there is a lot of creativity and personal internalization that needs to be reflected in that. So that way it helps children. Yes.
Nice. Sean is asking or saying that he has an 18-year-old son and would like to sign up for this. do you teach them to chant the Gita verses as well? And
Mm.
so I know that's not a big detailed part of the chanting the specific shlokas of this. It's more about understanding and applying as you outlined in your previous answer
Yes,
to
yes.
Sanjeevji. But I think that's an interesting part of it. And if you want to talk about how you approach the shlokas, the chanting, the understanding, and then the application.
Yes, chanting is not part of this course because it's a time constraint that we have. So this course goes on for 10 weeks and understanding 18 adhyayas with their concepts, relating them to the day-to-day life and issues itself takes a lot of time. And there are so many institutions around. We have seen that they really teach chanting in a very nice way. So, yes, simultaneously, you can also start doing because chanting has its own benefits. And it is always nice to have it in your head rather than referring it out on paper or any other resource. But for particularly for this course, we focus more on the understanding of Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. So let me launch the poll. If you or you know somebody who might be interested in enrolling in the Gita, growing up with the Gita course, and then just a follow-up question will refine, just helps us follow up. Sandeep Kumar is asking, what is the class size? Um, serious questions. Do you provide any booklets, AV, etc.? Yes. Maybe you haven't taken a course at HUA yet, but all of this is on our learning management system online. You get your login, you get your at hua.edu email address, and then each of your courses comes up. You can click through, and then for that quarter that course is offered, you can access the Zoom link each week. We take attendance. You have access to the PDF files, or if there's reading documents that are attached or videos can be linked, quizzes, assignments, all of it is done. It's Moodle, if you're familiar with it. It's a proper learning management system that makes it easier to learn. And we're trying to do this ongoing process, as you say, make it easier because it keeps on going. Even after you finish a course, it's not that you disconnect and you don't apply it. You can take the next course. You can join the Friends of HUA, local chapters. You can use what you've learned and apply it in a student club on campus or through another partnership that we had with this Pathfinders, where we sent, we had a, I mean, that's a whole different initiative.
Yeah.
And then we have the Bhagavad Gita Pariksha, which we've done 2 years in North Carolina. We're going to be doing it in Minnesota this year. And it's just, as Kalikaji was saying earlier, when you see a kid internalize and then be able to articulate, answer questions, it's an amazing thing to see a 12-year-old able to articulate what the Bhagavad Gita means to them. And then the next kid does it, and then the next kid does it, and then the whole room is better for it.
Yes.
So we're gonna do it again, and if you're interested in this, yeah, just let us know. Put something in the chat, or we'll follow up. We'll be doing more of these. So
Um,
that's a little bit of a pitch from me on that, Kalikaji.
Ankurji, there is a question here in the chat. It says that my grandson is 12 years old, have to handle the questions from his Christian classmates. All of them are Christians and he is the only Hindu. So, what is a good way of answering them briefly without losing their friendship? So, yes, without losing their friendship is important because if they see that we are convincing them or we are preaching them, they will run away. Rather, take it a logical route. You know, if we can explain them what is the meaning of divinity in Sanatan Dharma, what do we mean by Ishwar? What is the difference between Ishwar and Devata? That is deities. So there is a difference between Ishwar and deity. So if we can bring these concepts and then explain them, it really helps. And losing their friendship is, see, as long as they know that we love them, we care about them, we want to understand them, and we also respect them, they will maintain the friendship because they also want friendship. But if they feel that we are judging them, we are preaching, then they will run away.
Yeah.
Mm,
The batch size per course, it depends on the quarter, the semester, the age group. But 15 to 25, somewhere in that range is what we.
Last time we had almost 25 students last
Yeah,
course, yes.
nice.
And Sanjeev Goyalji is saying it's just to convince the teenagers. Uh, Not really. It's not to convince them, it's just to inspire them to think. So, if we can inspire them to think on their own, that's a happy journey. We needn't convince them, they won't be convinced. Nobody is convinced for that matter. We just have to. Sri Krishna could not convince the Kauravas. Sri Krishna could not convince most of the people, even today. But all for those who are willing to understand and willing to think and join the journey, it's the best resource. And that is what we will try to tell the teenagers.
I love it.
Uh,
Don't convince, just please think. I encourage you to think, yes, for yourself. We have more people. Yeah, please put in the chat comments, questions. My daughter is 11, and what she doesn't believe in God or anything like it, right? Anything like it, God can be anything, right? That's one of those things where the communication and the
she may
exact
not.
language.
True, true. Ankurji, this girl, intelligent girl, may not believe in the concept of God that she has so far understood. But if she understands that Ishwar means something different, see, in Ishavasya Upanishad, we have Upanishads. They are our most ancient treasure of wisdom. Upanishads are part of Ved, so we also have course on Upanishads. So Ishavasya Upanishad starts with this Ishavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. So Ishwar is everywhere. What does that mean? Now, if you go and talk to her about the hard problem of consciousness that David Chalmers is talking about, then probably she would be interested. And then he is asking a question why the problem of consciousness is hard. Because we are asking where from this consciousness arise. Does it arise from matter or matter arises from consciousness? Now, Vedic wisdom tells us that consciousness is prior to matter. And whatever has come out of consciousness is what is the world that we see. You can call it Leela, you can call it Maya, you can call it Prakriti. Different answers are there, but consciousness is prior. Now, how can we experience this consciousness? The neuroscientists say that the subjective experience of experiencing, where from it comes? I am singing. Singing is an action, but who is singing? I am aware. If you ask me that are you living or dead, I'm pretty 100% sure that I'm living, each one of us. I don't have doubt about that. What is that I? And from there, if you take her to understanding the concept of Ishvara, I wouldn't say that she would run away. She would start discussing it with you. So, yes, if you want to talk to the teenagers, don't tell them to believe. Try to convince them. Just make them think, ask them intelligent questions, and discuss logically with them. They will be with us. Yes, if I have answered that.
Yeah.
What
So
age
age
group will
groups. Yeah. And I know each quarter, depending on who you have, you may adjust a little bit, but
Yes.
there's certain age groups that are I mean, you've done different batches, right? 10 to 15 and then 15 to 25. I
Right,
think you
right.
mentioned that earlier. So
Yes.
that's we don't recommend any age group. Whoever you have, send them.
Yes. Last group, I remember there were two boys. One was 10 and one was 11, and they were so amazing. I mean, and the way they discussed and asked questions, it was interesting. Every batch, we have interesting souls coming. And they have small bodies, but the souls are, I mean, they are old souls. They come here. And I also had one student who said that I'm here just because my parents have sent me. I have no interest in whatever you speak. This was his clear cut saying on the first day when we were just getting introduced. I said, fine, I really understand how pathetic it must be for you to come and sit here. But would you mind if we start talking about you in this class? Then he gave it a thought and he said, you'll be talking about me? I said, yes, I want to talk about you. Then he said, I will think about it. And believe me, after some time, this was the child who kept on asking more and more questions. So, it's like that. Children are really amazing. Yeah, I love working with them.
Yeah. Anuji, maybe we can have a more detailed conversation, but I think this might be a good course for you to get into if you haven't taken any course before at HUA. And just the way that Kalagaji explained and has talked about some of her previous courses and how she's gone, I think it'd be great for you to take with your kids. But yeah, take a look at our upcoming courses and we can get into those details. You get an email, everyone will, afterwards with a link to register, a recording of this webinar. So look out for that in your email box, whichever one you signed up for this webinar with. Yeah. So any other questions? This poll is up. If you didn't fill it out, please minimize, maximize, let us know if you're interested in this course. Yeah, it's always my pleasure to host these webinars. Memorial Day weekend, still doing it and having people engage and ask thoughtful questions and looking for programs like this. So I'm glad to be doing this with, of course, Dr. Kalika Durkar. Now we've been to a couple of different conferences and events together too, so
Yes, yes.
we're gonna keep this going. I'm going to after the session ends, I'll share some a video about an upcoming retreat we have. This is a new strategy. We'll use, if you want to stick around as our webinar attendees, we'll share upcoming opportunities to engage with HUA. So it's been my pleasure as always. And with that, let me hand it to Dr. Uttarkar for her closing thoughts, last pitch, and anything else that you want to address. I think we took all the questions. I'll just double check in
Yes,
case.
most of them we
But
have.
if you want to get a question in, now's your last chance.
So thank you, Ankurji. Thank you for your energy as usual and the kind of thoughts and energy that you bring into the whole process of webinar. I really enjoy as usual. And thank you all the participants for being here on Sunday evening and giving your time. And from my side, I would say that looking forward to seeing more and more teenagers this time in the course. So your neighbors, your relatives, or the temple where you're working, wherever it could be, we would want to reach to more and more teenagers. If you need any help from our side as of from HUA, please email us to Ankurji, and we will like to come and if you want us to talk to somebody, we are open. Let us all join hands together, not just HUA, but you all are part of HUA family because we have a common goal. So let us come together and try to reach out to more and more children from the new generation. And regarding other courses, please visit our website, look into different courses. As for me, next I would be taking courses on Upanishads, parenting. So look out for our emails and webinars. And thank you so much. It's been wonderful with you. Dhanyawad.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Kalikaji. We'll keep you posted and we'll see you next time. I'm going to share this retreat video about healing your life. And I know, Kalikaji, we need to put together a retreat video for the workshop. I think that
Yes,
we're going to be doing in Minnesota. It's
yes,
August 21st to the 24th, where we're going to be doing Bhagavad Gita Pariksha, and you're going to be doing a special kind of 3-4 day workshop where you're going to give kids a deep understanding of the Bhagavad Gita in a short amount of time as a summer camp. So that's going to be a cool one as well. All right. Thank you. All right. Let me share this sound.
We have an upcoming retreat that we'll be doing at the Pine Lake Retreat, which is right outside Orlando in Florida. And I'll be co-leading that retreat. And it'll be a 4-day retreat. It's an opportunity for you to engage in living the principles Ayurvedic medicine. It is a journey toward harmony. It is a journey toward love. It's a journey toward health. And all of these are interrelated. Harmony, love, and health. They all go hand in hand with each other. And they go hand in hand with knowing your true nature as spirit. Well, we forget. We do. Because we're human. To be human is to get caught up in the world. And we do that. And we need sometimes to step outside of the world in order to remember who we are. And that's the purpose of a retreat. The purpose of a retreat is to step outside your ordinary life. To get on an airplane and fly to some beautiful place, not where you're going to have that elaborate, ecstatic vacation, drink alcohol and stay up late at night. No, not that kind of a vacation. A retreat. To retreat away from the world, the dramas of the world. And that's what an Ayurvedic retreat is. It's an opportunity to step outside your ordinary life and to return to awareness of yourself, to become more solid in who you are, to remember what you have forgotten. And that's the beautiful part of it. And I look forward to spending sacred time with all of you as we explore this together. And hopefully at the end of the retreat, and I believe that it will certainly be true, we will all be a little bit more loving and bring that love out into the world with us. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, all right. My camera is not working anymore. Well, thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. I hope you'll consider taking the retreat, get some more information on that as well. Have a good rest of your Memorial Day weekend. Goodbye.
Namaste, Ampuji.
Oh, God. Namaste, namaste.
Namaste.